atmosphere of the moon. It's barely there. But there is dust on the lunar surface that can get lofted up through electrostatic forces. And when the sun goes behind the moon, it can scatter forward on those dust particles and sort of like create a little glow on the horizon. And so we're really excited to see if the crew can actually see that.
This is so exciting. Thank you so much for walking through all of that with us. Julian Gross, Artemis Curation Lead, we really appreciate you joining us here today, and good luck to your team.
Thank you. I'm really excited to be here.
We are now MET 4 days, 18 hours, and 49 minutes into the flight of Orion. This view of the moon from the Orion spacecraft as we get closer and closer. We're live here in Artemis Mission Control at Johnson Space Center in Houston, Texas, just about 32 minutes away until the crew surpasses the record set by Apollo 13 as the farthest astronauts to ever leave Earth. This view coming from a camera mounted on the tip of one of Orion's 4 solar arrays. Each array has a camera on its tip, and so we anticipate getting views throughout the lunar flyby. Of course, except during the point of loss of signal when the spacecraft flies behind the moon. Inside the cabin, the crew are configuring the inside of Orion for today's flyby, making sure they have everything just where they want it to help them take the pictures that they are aiming for the science team here on the ground. Coming up in just a few minutes, we will have a pre-lunar flyby conference. During that Lunar Flyby Science Crew Conference, our science officer here on console, Kelsey Young, will be speaking directly with the crew members about their targets, about their goals for today, what they expect to see, and what we are hoping to hear from them. We have a lot of milestones coming up today, so make sure you don't miss them. The first coming up, again, at 1:56 p.m. Eastern Time, the crew will pass the distance from Earth record set by Apollo 13 in 1970. At 2:45 p.m., lunar flyby officially begins. The crew will have that time on their schedules to begin photographing and providing audio recordings of what they are seeing on the moon. At 7:02 p.m., Orion will make its closest approach to the moon, approximately 4,070 miles away. Of course, all of these numbers are going to have to be confirmed following the flyby. These are estimates, and we are working with orbital mechanics. At 7:07 p.m., Orion reaches its maximum distance from Earth, approximately 252,760 miles away from us all. At 8:35 p.m., the spacecraft will enter a solar eclipse. The crew will become the first to see a solar eclipse from the moon. Ahead of the official beginning of flyby today, Kelsey Young, Artemis Science Flight Operations Lead, will be conducting a pre-lunar flyby crew conference. She will give information on camera setup, remind the crew of their intended targets, answer questions from the astronauts, and more. Young will help the crew set their targeting timeline, which counts down the time they have to image each target and what they'll be capturing next. She'll also remind them that the ground team will be calling for science sit reps, also known as situation reports. Those are essentially call-downs to report what they've been observing. They'll continue to do this even through their LOS, their loss of signal, as those communications will come down later on after they reconnect with us on Earth. This view in the cabin, you can see the crew members are already using their cameras, getting set up, and they have dimmed the cabin lights to allow them better visibility outside of the windows and fewer reflections. Now, 28 minutes until they become the humans to travel farthest from our planet.
Houston Integrity, we are ready for the conference on your call.
Houston is ready for the conference, passing you over to Science. Good morning, crew. This is Science. We couldn't be more excited for a full day of lunar and planetary observations today, the first one in over 54 years. How do you hear me?
We hear you loud and clear, and Kelsey, you just got to know you're pulling us away from the moon right now, so let's go.
Message received. I will keep it tight here. I did just want to start with a thank you on behalf of the Lunar Science team and the entire lunar and planetary science community, of which you are absolutely a part, for what you've already done in this mission and what you're going to do today to inspire the next generation of scientists. I have to say Moonjoy is the new term that's already become our team's new motto, so thanks for that. In this conference, we'll cover hardware and config reminders, and then I'll just briefly, as you said, cover today's science plan. I'm assuming you already have your LTPs up. Confirm that, and I'll jump quickly into the cabin config reminders.
Okay, we have the LTP up just to give you a sit rep on board. You've got Reed and Christina on one PCD, and Ike has his own, and Jeremy has his own.
Copy that. That was going to be one of my questions for you, and I'll ask a question back. Is that the config that you and Christina plan to carry throughout the day for PCD use?
Negative, Kelsey. Our plan for PCD use is we have run the power cables to Windows 2 and 3, and we are going to leave one PCD. The yellow PCD will be in window 2, and the green PCD will be in window 3, and we will do that the whole day. And then the red PCD will be a rover.
Understood. Super helpful. Recommend when you guys switch in and out of PCDs to add your initials to your OneNote annotations, just so we can keep track of whose is who. And then given that you have 3 PCDs instead of 4 for the data transfer at the end of the day, recommend making a new subdirectory entitled for science for your own photos or with your initials, that we can keep track of which pictures came from which flashcards.
This view.
So, Kelsey, I just want to here's what we're doing. We have community cards in all cameras on board, and then when each astronaut approaches their camera, the intent is they will put their card into that camera for photos and then put the community card back in at the end of the session. But just know it is harder to manage cards than we thought, and we don't want to miss science, so it might end up a bit more disorganized.
Understood. Thanks for that essay. Just read the flashcard numbers down when you get a chance, and we'll follow your lead on the best thing to do operationally during the flyby. With that, I'll move on to windows. So the window characterization DFTO you guys did a few days ago confirmed that window 2 is ideal for imaging, so no change to config of photographer in window 2, observer in window 3, and science sit reps in window 1. Coming up on a handover. Be back.
Hang on, Kelsey. The way we have it configured, tell us if this is going to be wrong. Window 2 is the long lens with a shroud.
As you heard, science officer called to the crew. We are now in a handover time period. We will regain communications with the crew very shortly. These are tracked. And we are currently on the Deep Space Network. This is the first time humans have used the Deep Space Network in over 50 years, given that we currently use the Tracking Data Relay satellite systems for the International Space Station. This view from Artemis Mission Control on the right is Kelsey Young. That's who you hear speaking with the crew. Young is the Artemis Science Flight Operations Lead, and we also look forward to speaking with her here today. Again, we are just about 22 minutes until we reach the Apollo record. We are in a handover of satellites with the crew aboard Orion.
The T-shirt shroud for the Z9 and solar, and then window 3 will be for visual observations, and window 4 is for floater.
And thanks, Integrity, for that. Reed, we had a handover during that time, so I'm going to have to ask you to give that read back on window orientation for the crew again.
Okay, we are happy to change it, but the way we have it configured right now is window 1 has a T-shirt shroud for the Z9 for solar. Window 2 has the shroud for the long lens for both lunar and solar. Window 3 is for visual observations. Window 4 is for floater. And then the docking hatch window has had a great view, so we've done a lot of mapping through that as well.
All right, copy all, Reed. A note just on the window 1 T-shirt shroud that you can remove that for the lunar observation block if you want that extra view for another floater, but defer to you guys on that. You are go to use the full 400 millimeter zoom on the long lens, but where possible, try to keep the end of the lens flush with the window to prevent imaging through the multiple window panes at an angle. And if you have to take an image at an angle, recommend you limit the max focal length to 200 millimeters or simply acquire the images at multiple focal lengths. Last imaging update as a result of the DFTO is that if you can take the images out of the left side of window 2 where possible, that is the best half the window. Understand that might not be possible with the shroud. Any other imaging questions from you?
Okay, copy that.
Okay, last couple reminders. Don't forget the ability to take the wave files to tag imagery that you are wanting to follow up on using the FN3 button on your camera. And then a couple quick notes on your LTP. We have refined your precise flyby timing since generating the LTP. Optimus has the correct timing for the LOS and AOS, but the LTP identifiers for LOS and AOS are roughly 2 minutes later than they will be in reality. Final LTP timing update is that the green line on your LTP should start automatically 45 minutes before the flyby. If it doesn't appear, let me know and I'll have troubleshooting steps for you. Last updates are on the eclipse, so only for that last hour today. Of course, remember if the sun is in view to use your eclipse glasses. And reminder that we will have a few activities for you prior to the eclipse to reconfigure all 3 cameras for corona and deep sky observations. These activities, some of which will occur during the forward link LOS, so we wanted to flag it for you now. Any questions before I cover the last 2 reminders?
No, we have no questions on that.
Last couple eclipse reminders, the sunset period and the first roughly 23 minutes of the eclipse will fall during that forward link LOS, but we'll still have a return link, and we're still looking forward to your science sit reps and observations during that time. And I do have a reminder for you on your preferred starting config for the eclipse in terms of role responsibility. Let me know if you want me to read that up or if you guys have that in your minds already. And if no other questions on config, I'll give you a few science-focused reminders.
Give us a quick high level, but we see it in Optimus, and I think we got it squared away. But give us your quick, Kelsey, high level.
Okay. A couple changes from the first LTP you studied is that Glushko is the only feature that the same pair will view twice. That's Reed and Jeremy. That's why that's the only target you see that is marked as 1 of 1 and 1 of 2 and 2 of 2. So Ohm and Oriental are in there twice, but they're by different pairs, which is why you don't see them marked accordingly. A note from feedback on your observations so far over the last couple days, a reminder that if you note structure and texture as well as color and albedo, please note any correlation between the 2, and also a reminder that negative observations are still valuable science. So a lack of color or a lack of structure associated with color is also valuable. A reminder also that your observations so far indicate it will likely take some time for your eyes to adjust. We especially heard that around your Terminator observations and your color observations. So reminder to know that your eye adaptation is going to kind of come in throughout your shift, and let us know when you start to see that nuance. Last reminder is around Earthset and Earthrise. When you're viewing us back here at home, you'll be looking directly at Asia, Africa, and Oceania. So I'm sure people watching from those places here on Earth will want to give you all a wave as you take their picture. Any other questions for me?
And Kelsey, hey, when you're talking window 2 left and right side, just can you say towards window 1 or towards window 3, and then we'll know that we are talking the same language?
Absolutely. So I mean that the side of window 2 closest to window 3 is preferred for imaging.
Okay, the side of window 2 closest to window 3 is preferred for recording. Stand by, we'll talk to the crew.
Again, we are in our pre-lunar flyby science conference with Kelsey Young. Kelsey Young is the Artemis Science Flight Operations Lead, speaking with the crew aboard Orion. They've been training for this moment for years, and this is their last opportunity to get some further pointers and information.
Kelsey, for the T-shirt shroud, what window does the science team think will have the best view? Is it window 1 or window 4?
The only time we're strongly recommending use of the window shroud.
The T-shirt window shroud for the eclipse viewing. Which window is primary for Z9?
Window 1.
Okay, awesome. So we have got that all set up. And just to be 100% sure, window 1 is the most port window by the food warmer. Window 2 is right in front of seat 1. Window 3 is right in front of seat 2. And window 4 is on the starboard side by the side hatch. Do you agree with all that?
We agree on the ground. Good readback.
Okay, that's awesome. Kelsey, we're going to close with happy words. It's just incredible. I wish you were up here to see all the smiling faces, to hear all these terminologies being thrown around, and we are just fired up to get started on this day. Let me pass the mic around if anybody has anything to add.
Kelsey, it's so great to hear your voice on the loops. I just want to channel everything that you guys are probably feeling right through my eyes and heart. It is awesome to see the side of the moon. You guys made us excited for this day, and we couldn't appreciate it anymore. And we are ready to hopefully deliver on all the awesome training you guys have provided.
I'll just add, Kelsey, it is blowing my mind what you can see with the naked eye on the moon right now. It's just unbelievable.
Kelsey, and to the whole Lunar Science team, all of you, all the work you put into this, we're just grateful. Can't wait to get going. And thank you for the tipper, for Carol Crater, and for Integrity. We can see them, and we've imaged them, and can even see with the naked eye. Quite impressive. Thank you so much.
Beautiful words, you guys. Thanks so much. And I got video of the science team right now, and they are all absolutely buzzing. Looking forward to today.
Okay, we're heading into the timeline. Cheers, guys.
Of the pre-lunar flyby science conference with Dr. Kelsey Young. Young has served as the Artemis Science Flight Operations Lead, getting the crew ready. And we're live in Artemis Mission Control in Houston, but we are not the only room monitoring today's flyby. As you heard Young mention, in this same building and just down the hall, a multidisciplinary lunar science team supports the Artemis II crew in real time, including experts in lunar geology, impact cratering, volcanism, polar science, imaging, and visualization. There are two integrated facilities, and the first is the SIR, which is what you have right here. That's the Science Evaluation Room. They are embedded within Mission Control to provide science input during live operations like what we see today. Additionally, and not pictured, we have the Science Mission Operations Room, a back room that processes data, evaluates imagery, and supports rapid analysis. Our science officer on console in Mission Control Houston serves as the primary interface between the science team and the flight controllers, ensuring science priorities are represented during mission execution. Again, today, that's Dr. Kelsey Young, who will be speaking with the crew during the time they're behind the moon. We will be speaking with her once the crew is behind the moon and out of communication with Earth. Back inside the Orion spacecraft on your left, closest to the camera, NASA astronaut Christina Cook. To her left, NASA astronaut Reed Wiseman. To his left, Canadian Space Agency astronaut Jeremy Hansen. And all the way in the back, NASA astronaut Victor Glover, our Artemis II crew. We are now approaching 8 minutes until the crew surpasses the Apollo 13 record. Currently 12,599 miles away from the moon, 248,507 miles away from Earth. You may also hear the Orion spacecraft referred to today as Integrity. This was named by the Artemis II crew. It is
Integrity crew, we have Reed's family in the viewing gallery. You're welcome to say hello.
Well, whether you're being serious or you're kidding around, that is awesome to hear. Thanks, Jenny. And hello to Ellie and Katie. I don't know who else is there, but it's great to know that you're in mission control right now, following along. We are having a blast up here, and the view of the moon is absolutely amazing.
I'm seeing a lot of hearts come out of the viewing gallery and even more smiles. Thanks, Reed. Copy heart, copy bracelet.
that call from Capcom Jenny Gibbons, Canadian Space Agency astronaut and Artemis II backup crew member, letting Reed Wiseman know that he has family here to support him today in the Artemis Mission Control viewing room. As I was mentioning, we have the Orion spacecraft flying today. However, the Artemis crew members named their Orion spacecraft Integrity, so you will hear calls to this entire crew with the name Integrity. They say that the name Integrity embodies the foundation of trust, respect, candor, and humility across the crew and the many engineers, technicians, scientists, planners, and dreamers required for mission success. This view live from the outside of Orion as we continue. Preparing for our lunar flyby, now less than 5 minutes from surpassing the record set by Apollo 13 astronauts for the farthest humans to travel from Earth. This will not be the farthest that Integrity travels today. They will continue until they reach approximately a distance of 252,760 miles. That would be about 4,105 miles farther than Apollo 13. However, these numbers are our targets, and we will get confirmation on those numbers as soon as we possibly can and share them with you all. We've talked a little bit about what to expect from the crew, whether that's taking photos or making audio recordings. To get a little more detailed, Reed Wiseman and Jeremy Hansen will be up first to capture imagery and record audio on the portable computing devices. You hear those referred to as PCDs, while Victor and Christina serve as the support members. The crew will switch windows and roles halfway through their shift, and 1 hour and 5 minutes later, Victor Glover and Christina Cook will be the next crew members at windows 2 and 3 to take photos and make annotations, while Reed and Jeremy take on those support roles. There are 5 viewing blocks, and the crew will swap out with each one. During 2 of the blocks, the 2 support members will also be able to enjoy their midday meal. At least 3 times per block is a science sit rep. Again, situational report. This is partially an operational status, reporting back if they missed any targets or gotten any specific ones, if they have issues with their camera or any other operational items. The other part is an actual description of the moon. This task is done by one of the support team astronauts, so that's not the crew currently taking photos or making annotations, but they do have windows 1 and 4 that they can float up and provide that information from. If you watch the entirety of the flyby, you'll also notice the crew will be photographing some targets multiple times to get observations in different lighting conditions. This is due to Orion changing their location throughout the flyby. What this crew will be able to capture in a couple of hours of the same targets in different lighting would take orbiters years to do because of solar and spacecraft positioning. This crew has studied the moon extensively, and they're also familiar with what the science team calls the Big 15. These are